Planning a move to Orange County, California? From Irvine, California's glistening suburbia to Laguna Niguel's coastal vibes to Fullerton's hipster charm, this place has it all. But where should you call home? Today, we're going to explore 5 great places to live in Orange County, California, each with its own unique vibe. And stick around for a bonus tip to help you choose the perfect spot for you. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and tap that bell to get weekly tips on making Orange County, California your new home.
So we're going to focus on 5 different unique places to live in Orange County. This is Orange County right here. So, there's lots of places that we could choose to talk about in this particular video, but we're going to just really focus on the different flavors that Orange County offers you because, people sometimes think that Orange County is only one thing. They think of the master plan communities and they think that that's all it is.
Disneyland.
Or they think it's Disneyland. Actually, they usually think Disneyland's in LA. Or they think Orange County is, just Laguna Beach or Newport Beach. So we're just going to focus on different flavors. But since I was talking about suburbia, let's, do the elephant in the room. Let's talk about Irvine. We'll do it quick because we have so much on our channel about Irvine. But Irvine is definitely one of the most well-known cities in all of Orange County. And part of the reason is because you can see here, it's really in the exact center of Orange County. It also happens to be the corporate center of Orange County. There's a lot of jobs available in Irvine. It also happens to be glistening suburbia. If you've ever heard us mention South County, which is down here, South County is glistening suburbia. It kind of just took what Irvine did and sort of like ran with it.
So before we continue, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Sean Dazad.
And I'm Courtney Dazad.
And we're licensed realtors here in the state of California. And if you're watching this channel, you might be thinking, well, Sean, I love Orange County. I love the Pacific Ocean. I love the blue skies. I love the perfect weather. I can't wait to move it here now. The problem is I'm not local. I may be out of state. I may be even out of the country, so I don't know what to do. I totally get that. That's when you reach out to us so we can have that conversation over the phone, finding out specifically what you're looking for and be your boots on the ground so we can do virtual tours of homes as well as the neighborhoods that they're in to really give you a good sense of what's out there. So when you do come out here, your time is spent more efficiently. So what you want to do is you want to give us a call or shoot us a text.
Yes, that number is the cell phone. So you can call us or text us, or you can use WhatsApp if you're outside the country.
I don't know if you want to talk about Irvine and what sort of flavor it is.
Yeah, what was it? As far as flavor goes, so one, like you mentioned, it's corporate. So because of how it's located, like you'll notice here that you have the 405 freeway and the 5 freeway. They both run right through Irvine. They actually intersect at the edge of Irvine here. And these are 2 of the major freeways in all of Southern California. So these are huge, huge arteries. And the fact that they intersect, and coincidentally, this little pocket right here is a huge corporate headquarters hub. Like tons of corporate headquarters are located right there. I mean, again, just easy to get to anywhere from here. And then you have the UC Irvine aspect of things. You have John Wayne Airport, which is not technically in Irvine, but Irvine borders it. So UC Irvine is right around here. And then you have John Wayne Airport, which is right here, which is actually, it looks a lot smaller than it is. It actually does do a pretty amazing job. There's a lot of actually passengers that go through this airport, and it's super well run. I mean, if there's an airport in Southern California to go to, that would be it, because it's just, I mean, it doesn't go international. However, it does actually have a lot of destinations throughout the country. So you have tons of corporations right there. So just lots of offices, lots of master plan communities, just suburbia to the max. I mean, this is kind of like the godfather of suburbia is Irvine, really.
Yeah, and Sean said, just to clarify, because I know somebody will be like, no, it does go international. It goes to Canada, Mexico, maybe some places in the Bahamas. But it's not like LAX, which is like anywhere in the world.
Yes, exactly.
And next up, for a slightly different flavor that's still in South County. So like I was mentioning before, Irvine, it's known for the glistening master plan communities. South County, very similar, very like glistening master plan communities. Laguna Niguel definitely has, like, I'd say more of a chill vibe than Irvine, and especially if you're getting into the southern part of Laguna Niguel, then it definitely has more of like a coastal vibe, and in some of these communities here, you can actually see the ocean, and you can definitely smell the ocean.
And most importantly, it has 2 Costco's.
Yes, it has 2 Costco's, and one interesting thing about Laguna Niguel is that it really does feel differently depending on where you are. Like South Laguna Niguel, definitely more beachy vibe, even though, as you can see, it does not have any coastal.
Quite hit the beach.
Yeah, no coastal. And then, but then around the lake, it definitely has more of like a lake vibe. You can actually feel a temperature difference here compared to here. I'd say, yeah, so Sean just made fun of me about my lake vibe. It's a really small lake. But it's definitely like this part of it is definitely like kind of centered around the lake, and this part.
You can't go in the lake.
No, you can't swim in it.
You can't boat in it. You can't swim in it.
But it's cute.
People fish there.
Yeah, you can fish there, but it's and there's lots of Canada geese too.
Yeah. So we know that all the droppings.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of how Laguna Niguel is, and then you should also know that. Laguna Niguel, it does have like heightened fire danger like around here. Of course, we're not fire experts, so reach out to us if you want the Orange County Fire Authority map. But this is Aliso Woods, which is just a bunch of like open space here.
Great place to hike and run and mountain bike for sure.
Yeah, for sure. But that's one thing about Laguna Niguel. And then Irvine departs of it. Anything that's kind of like around open space will have that.
I mean, these are lush forests right here, just so you know. I mean, this is just, the groves are just huge, like sequoias everywhere.
No, Sean's making a joke. They call it the Cleveland National Forest, but it's really just like tumbleweeds and brush and grass. So, you just got to be aware of that if you are concerned about fire danger and you'd like the Orange County Fire Authority's maps. But, yeah, so that's Laguna Niguel. So just to know about that.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I will say that basically one of our hacks for Laguna Niguel is that I see this part that's obviously really close to the coast. This is kind of one of those things where it's very beachy, like you were mentioning, but the price is not quite as expensive as actually being in Dana Point or Laguna Beach.
Yeah.
So you're kind of getting a nice little hack because you're pretty, like, this is a very short distance right here, like between, like, this is like a half mile between here and Pacific Coast Highway. So you're really close to the beach. And I've sold, properties to clients that actually did utilize the set hack and basically got a pretty good price for the home that they were getting in the location they were getting it.
Yeah, for sure. And then stick around for our little bonus tip to help you find that perfect home for you. So a little bonus tip a little bit later on. So next up, though, the city that we're going to highlight. Since we're in South County, we will come back to South County later, but let's just go to Huntington Beach right now. So Sean loves Huntington Beach for the value that you're getting in Huntington Beach. Like, he likes to call Huntington Beach a unicorn city. You want to talk about it?
Yeah, I mean, well, Huntington Beach is Surf City, USA, right? So if you're talking about a vibe, surfer vibe, like counterculture type of thing, like it's a really good, it's a great city. It's a coastal city, so you get some of the best weather in the world. You have a harbor here. You have huge beaches. I mean, if you're interested in like outdoor activities, Huntington Beach is pretty incredibly fantastic. And then the price point is really reasonable. Actually, Huntington's median price point is marginally higher than Orange County's general median price point, which is incredible when you consider it's a beach city, and not even like an obscure beach city, but a very well-known beach city. And it's not like it's tucked out of the way. This is actually, in a lot of ways, this is superior to what Laguna Beach has to offer from the perspective of convenience. So Laguna Beach is like 3 times more expensive.
So Laguna's right there.
Yeah, it's like 3 times more expensive, but it is a pain to get to, right?
Yeah.
Like, so one, it's really difficult to get to. And second is that, like, let's say you do have work in LA County. This is really close to the LA County border, where Long Beach is just a really short trek. So a lot of people that actually do work in LA, they want the beach city. Huntington Beach is is the first place I'd mention to them, because they get to bypass all this other traffic that's south of it. So Huntington Beach is value-wise incredible, location-wise incredible. What it offers is incredible. So obviously, as you can tell, I am a fan.
And since Sean was talking about people who want to live in Orange County, but they might have to work in LA, another city that offers that and offers a totally different vibe is Fullerton. Fullerton, because I'm from San Diego County, so in a lot of ways, like, Fullerton reminds me of San Diego because it has a cute downtown. Orange County doesn't really have a downtown, but Fullerton has a cute art downtown, lots of cute little eclectic houses. It just reminds me like a lot more of, kind of that cutesy vibe that a lot of people feel like is missing from Orange County. So
yeah, it's an older city by Orange County standards, right? So you kind of do have a proper downtown where you have all these cool little, eateries. You have like cool restaurants. You have cool bars here. So it's just like, again, a proper downtown, what you think of. And then on top of that, they have gated communities here. They obviously, if you're looking, they have actually some of these homes are actually on good sized lots as well. I mean, Fullerton is really a cool, people really like it a lot. So we mentioned University of California, Irvine. In Irvine, Fullerton has Cal State Fullerton, which is the second, second major actual like university in Orange County as well. So, and that's a public school too.
Yeah, and one nice thing that's nice about Fullerton is that it's close to like all the entertainment stuff in Anaheim, which isn't just Disneyland. You've got all the concert venues, you've got all the other stuff that Anaheim has to offer. That's where the Ducks play, that's where the Angels play. So, if you kind of like that entertainment vibe, it's a nice location as well. And it's also a nice location in just that, you're kind of like 30 minutes from Irvine, you're kind of like 30 minutes depending on traffic from a lot of places in LA. You're also pretty close to the Inland Empire, so it's kind of like a nice little central location if you're more focused on like all of Southern California. So, that's just a nice thing about it as well.
Exactly. I mean, you're skipping a ton of traffic, again, if you're up in Fulton as opposed to Mission Viejo, for instance, because like especially if you're going northbound or north or westbound.
So again, stay tuned for our little tip, but let's lastly go back to South County and let's go to Lera Ranch because this definitely has its own unique little community vibe. It's definitely very community oriented, I would say. I mean, that's something that I'd say Orange County is like any big city where people just kind of stick to themselves. They're not that neighborly. But I would say Lera Ranch is different in that
bucks the trend.
Yeah, it's very community oriented. They've got Founders Park where they have tons of events and stuff. Got tons of like sports teams for Lera Ranch. When you go there, you'll see like the elementary schools and then kids walking to school or riding the bike to school, which isn't that normal for Orange County. It's just kind of like a big city in that way, but Lera Ranch sort of like bucks the trend in that way.
Yeah, it harkens back to the 1980s and stuff, right? Like it just like I remember we have friends that live in Lera Ranch, and we went to like a 1980s festival where like people were dressed up in 80s gear. There was like 80s concert at Founders Park actually, and you felt like you went through a time portal because. Yeah. It's not just what people were wearing and doing. It's just kind of like how like kids were kind of just playing off on their own. And it was weird because I try not to be a helicopter parent, but I mean, just the times are what they are. And so you want to have an eye on your kid to like be pretty close. But like our daughter and son were like playing with their friends that like live there, and they went to the playground, which was just outside of what we could view. And it was just like, it reminded me like when I was a kid where I certainly didn't have helicopter parents from that perspective. So it was kind of cool to see. And then inevitably at the concert, people are like, kid lost their parent, obviously. And so they announced it and the parent picked their kid up. So it's just one of those things where, it's a really cool vibe. And Lera Ranch technically is not a city, it's a census district. So It's not a city technically, but it just has so many features. It's kind of like whatever Irvine did, Lera Ranch kind of just blew it up and made it bigger, right? So they have splash pads, they have tons of pools, playgrounds, just like parks everywhere. I mean, it's just very, and like you said, it's very community focused, very neighborly, where you do actually, again, people really do kind of congregate at Founders Park because there's lots of events that take place there. Yeah. And 4th of July is just huge there.
Yeah. And then you've made it to the end. We talk about our little bonus tip. So our bonus tip is our hot sheets. Do you want to talk about what our hot sheets are? So if you are thinking about moving out to Orange County, reach out to us for our hot sheets.
Well, yeah. So basically, when we have that exploratory call, right? Like you're reaching out, you're interested in Orange County, kind of finding out more like what you're looking for. Where do you need to be and all that stuff. But like let's say when you do actually come out here, and depending on where you are, we like to provide our clients with hot sheets where. Like there's a bit of self-guided touring as well, right? Because you don't need to be we don't need to be hovering over your shoulder the entire time that you're down here for that little trip. It's more like, okay, we're giving you points of interest, kind of some interesting neighborhoods to check out, interesting eateries, that kind of stuff, where you kind of get a sense at least of like something where you're not aimlessly just driving around, where it gives you some sort of structure, and then we layer that, that scouting with actual, let's say showing you homes in these various neighborhoods. So you kind of get a sense of what's going on. And that way, again, your trip is just really efficient because we're mindful of your time, of course. And remember, we are licensed realtors here in the state of California. So as much as we love making these videos, what we love more is to help you with your real estate needs. So whether looking to buy or sell a home, what you want to do is when you give us a call or shoot us a text.
Yes, that number is a cell phone, so you can call us or text us, or you can use WhatsApp if you're outside the country.